than a century, Disney has been at the heart of experiences that fascinate and inspire. Characters who delight, and stories loved by generation after generation. Beauty and the Beast. It's the Oscar-winning animated feature brought to life as an award-winning stage musical. A global hit selling more than 35 million tickets worldwide. Beauty and the Beast has enchanted audiences from Broadway to London's West End and all around the world. Now it's time for Australian audiences to share in this timeless tale. And in sheer scale and complexity, it's nothing short of a beast. An extravaganza of costume, dance, song, scenery, and cutting-edge theatrical effects. How does the magic happen? Join us as we raise the curtain on this stunning production and take you behind the scenes of Disney's Beauty and the Beast.
It feels like a dream to be involved. It's overwhelming how these productions work, the effort and the time. Like, we're just a tiny part of this huge organisation that it's their job to make these incredible, beautiful stories come to life.
I think the script is so beautifully written, and the underscoring and the music, like, it's just all there. It's really one of those love stories where you get to see that whole friendship develop. It's so heartwarming and it's really special.
Definitely seeing a different version. Wow, this is updated. It's been given extra Disney sparkle. I can absolutely see that. But at the core, it has this incredible story.
It's 1991. And Beauty and the Beast, Disney's animated feature, brings this story of love and magic to cinemas across the globe to incredible success.
I thought it was Broadway brought to the screen, and actually, the New York Times reviewed it that way.
Inspired by the silver screen version, Matt West, musical theatre trailblazer, dancer, and choreographer, had a bold plan: to help bring Disney to Broadway for the very first time.
It was such a whirlwind. We went to Michael Eisner, who was then the CEO at Disney, three of us, and we said we wanted to take Disney to Broadway. And he said, well, absolutely not. So we went away and we made a plan for Disney on Broadway, how we thought it would be structured. We're working on another show, and Beauty opened. And Michael Eisner called us up and he said, how about Beauty and the Beast as a Broadway show? And I said, you know, it's a talking teapot. And the weekend went by, just a weekend went by, and he called again. And he said, are you sure? So then we had to do it. This doesn't happen to many people with their first Broadway show as a choreographer, and I feel very blessed.
Dance with me. Oh, no,
Like Beauty and her Beast, it was an unlikely match that defied expectations. A worldwide tour of the stage show ensued, including an Australian production in 1995.
We found an amazing cast, including Hugh Jackman, who was a little-known actor at that time, and he's done pretty well for himself since.
When this production opened in the spring of 1994, I think it's fair to say no one could have anticipated how remarkably successful it would be, or that we would be sitting here 30 years later in Australia watching a revival, a new production, with people in it playing principal roles who weren't even born when it opened.
And a few of those people are familiar Disney faces. Shubhri Kandhia as Belle and Brendan Xavier as the Beast. And I'm Gareth Jacobs, and I play Cogsworth. So, how does the magic of Disney come to life on stage? It all starts with story.
Everyone loves a story about someone who can be redeemed through love. And that's exactly what happens. It's about a boy who makes a horrific mistake And through love and growth and change, he's able to transform himself and everyone else. The director and I, Matt West, and I scrutinized the entire script. We sat down for 2 days, and we looked at every single moment and thought about how can we make it feel more of today. Who knew you could spend 30 years working on something, honing it, changing it with the times, you know, reinventing it visually. I mean, to me, this production is the most exquisite of all of them.
This iteration of the classic love story is set to enthrall hundreds of thousands of theatregoers around Australia.
With this production here in Australia, I mean, it's cranked up more than ever. The dance numbers are all brand new. I completely started over with Gaston, the pub number, with Be Our Guest. They are all new, extended dance numbers with amazing new dance arrangements and music by David Chase. So it's bigger, bolder, brighter than ever.
You've joined us behind the scenes of the Australian production of Disney's Beauty and the Beast.
One of my favourite things about being part of a production like this is just working with such incredible people. You look at everyone in the rehearsal room and you say, I can so see why you have been cast in this role.
And I've got my sights set on that.
An Australian production demands an Australian cast, and this one showcases our incredible homegrown musical theatre talent.
I think my favourite process of this has been in the rehearsal room and being on the floor, watching their work, being part of it, and being able to have a little bit of creative freedom to really bring our own version of the show.
The actors and actresses and singers and dancers here in Australia are phenomenal. They are brilliant, they bring ideas, talent, and such innovation and such color to the piece that it feels new. Once again.
I want adventure in the great wide somewhere.
I love the character of Belle. I think that she is intelligent, strong-willed, and she's really actually very warm. And I think it's that warmth that draws in the Beast, and because of that, he wants to be a better person.
The Beast is incredibly misunderstood. I think he even misunderstands himself. A curse is placed on the castle and everyone who lives there, and he needs to learn how to love someone and be loved in order for that curse to be lifted. It's daunting. I mean, it's so iconic, and I think everyone would say that about their characters in this show. They're iconic. I think for Lumiere, he's there as the bright light in the castle to really kind of keep things buoyant, and that's why I think he has this charismatic and, you know, this kind of flair for entertainment, really. He keeps everybody in check with his kind of exuberant ways and manners. So to play a character like that can be exhausting, you know, because you're on stage for 2.5 hours holding these candlesticks.
She's the motherly figure of the household, and in the show she's warm and fuzzy and lovable, but she has an edge. She won't take any nonsense from anyone, and I believe that she's the heart of the show. I've actually performed in Disney's Beauty and the Beast as my first job when I was 21, over 20 years ago. The memories that are coming flooding back in the rehearsal room, it's crazy to me. It's really a full circle moment, and I can't believe that I've been given the opportunity to do this show again.
The success of any stage show starts long before the curtain goes up. It begins with 6 weeks of intensive rehearsals, learning lines, crafting performances, and perfecting the story.
I'm looking for my father.
Is that you?
Typically, it starts off with some scene work, so we try to lift everything off the paper, get it real in a nice, real, authentic place, and then build from there.
They just want the best out of you as a performer, so everything that they do is to help you grow into these characters and help you shape this performance.
Then some sort of vocals, usually work the song. Sometimes it can be up to 6 hours of working on a dance number, depending on the scale of the dance number.
I didn't realise when we started this rehearsal process how much dancing would be in the show. There are such huge numbers. Be Our Guest for me is like a 10-minute number of tapping, of high kicking, of tango. Like, it's a huge, spectacular number.
And it starts off slow and it has this kind of like steady kind of rhythm, and it just keeps kind of growing into the more he's presenting. Here's the plates, now here's the flatware. All of a sudden, here's the feast of the table.
It's, yeah, hugely physically demanding, but I'm so glad that we have, you know, those 6 weeks of rehearsals to build up the stamina, to learn and go through the dance moves so many times to be so prepared.
From choreography to classic songs, If I Can't Love Her, Human Again, and Be Our Guest, to name a few. And everyone has their favourite.
I think it's got to be the Gaston number. When I watched the movie as a kid, that was my favorite number. And so now that I kind of get to lead the charge on it, it's a bit of like a pinch me moment. I can't really believe it's happening. And it is just, from the word go to the end, absolute beautiful chaos.
To bring a fairy tale to life, you need to conjure up an entire world of wonder, creating costumes that beguile and bedazzle. For Beauty and the Beast, that's a 6-month journey.
Costumes are really important in a theatrical production. They're really one of the important tools that a director can use to help tell the story. We need to communicate the characters' personalities to the audience, and the costume is a really important part of that. It also dictates for the actor their posture, how they might move on stage, and all of those things really sort of form together to create the fabric of a show.
In this production, the much-loved character of Lumiere gets an exciting makeover.
The costumes, they've redesigned my costume, and that's been an amazing process to be part of.
It's actually a very complicated costume to make, so we had to spend a lot of time planning it, working out how it was going to work, because it's actually been done in a new way for Australia.
Because normally when a show comes over, a big show like this, you are just given the design from who did it on Broadway, and so that is kind of it. But to be in the room when they're designing it on me, that was an incredible process, because it's a completely redesigned and new costume.
It's about taking the actor, talking to them about the character, and making sure that they're comfortable and have full movement for what they have to do on stage. End result is magnificent.
And what walking, talking candelabra would dare grace the stage without flames?
Gives me a lot of power. I also know that I'll be lighting every birthday cake for the company for the rest of the tour. So I'll be like, oh, whose birthday is it today? I'll light it.
Every costume detail is carefully designed from head to toe.
This is Mrs. Potts, Human Again. She's already got her shoes in at the theatre. And this is just, you know, because you can have a shoe with a polka dot. Why not? We've got over 4,800 and something measurements on file of all the different performers and actors. So we've moulded these so that when we make the boots, it comes down and there's all hair involved and everything for where the toes go. And then on the boot leg, we also put another haunch that gets covered in hair.
And on the subject of hair,
there are 115 wigs in this show, so quite a lot. A wig would take about 40 hours to build. That's from building the foundation, then hand knotting. I have a team of 14 knotters that sit there meticulously knotting single hairs into the wigs to create the styles. It's very labour intensive. To measure them up for a wig, we have to take a series of 7 head measurements and a head shape, which is a very glamorous moment where we get to put cling wrap and sellotape on their heads and mark out their hairline. And then from that, we then decide on colours, what their design is, and then start building the wig. It's almost like a tailor-made suit for a wig. We completely custom-made it. If they have a side parting, it has to be built a particular way. And then all the hair gets hand-blended and to look natural on stage. The Beast actually has 5 weeks in the production to create that look. Creatively, it's a lovely wig to build and also to style.
Costumes, shoes, wigs. Are we missing something?
As soon as I saw it on my face, I was like, oh my gosh, I am ugly. I was like, great, the first lead that I book, I'm hideous.
To become a beast, you need the transformational power of prosthetic makeup.
With this production, they've really stripped it back so you can see the character, you can see the man within this beast. So the prosthetics that I have, a nose prosthetic and then a brow prosthetic that goes over that. It matches everything from skin tone to the contours of my face. It's kind of jarring to see yourself as this sort of monster. And the team that have put this together are incredible. Like, I can barely feel it on my face. And it allows the audience to come into the character far more than they probably could have in the past.
In reimagining the classic story of Beauty and the Beast for the stage, the tech brief was simple.
We don't want it to be the one everybody's seen. We want to take it, a lot of it, to the next level.
So, how do you create an unforgettable experience for a new audience? Simple. Add a little techno trickery, sprinkle with a dose of Disney magic, and voila! Vivid scenes magically transform before your eyes.
There's a lot of LED technology in, right, which is, I believe, the first time for this production. There's somewhere in the range of 10 million pixels in the whole thing. It's used obviously, it's used very subtly. It tricks you into thinking this is a bunch of different backdrops that are video images. So that's been a big addition to the creative content of the production.
We're able to bring the scenic design to the stage in a bigger, brighter, bolder way than ever before. And that's exciting for me. And the way it scenically transitions from one scene to another is almost cinematic. All the choices you have, and then you come to the place where you have to choose some and not others. And that's hard because there's so much you want to do.
There's about 32 tons of equipment overhead, just suspended by the roof. We brought roughly 16 containers worth of physical elements from the UK tour, which is all of the scenery, all of the props, costumes. We brought the LED surfaces. We brought a lot of the lighting kit. There's about 26 technicians backstage to run the show. Probably we're in the neighborhood of 60 or 70 as we were bumping in.
And when it's go time, the clockwork backstage operation is pure performance.
One of the best shows you see is backstage on a production like that because it is always moving like crazy. There's a lot of moving set pieces vertically, horizontally, in all dimensions. As you bring in performers, as you have all the stage managers and the wardrobe running crew and wigs and makeup and props and all of the other technicians back there, it gets incredibly tightly choreographed where you know exactly where you're standing at this moment in the show because this thing is going to come whizzing off stage followed by 15 performers who are off to do a quick change back over there with the 12 dressers that are waiting for them. It's quite impressive.
Long days and late nights, rehearsal after rehearsal, months of meticulous work. It all comes down to this magical moment, opening night.
And the lead up is electric. We're seconds away from Beauty and the Beast being brought to life once again. And the tale as old as time is set to inspire a whole new legion of fans. It's showtime.
I've got mixed feelings. I think I'm going to cry when I watch it. Look, the most wonderful thing about the show was that I found my best friend in the show who played my beast.
And it is quite emotional, isn't it? I mean, really,
Yeah.
28 years ago,
Yeah.
when you think about it, we were up there, you know, as young'uns, sort of giving it our first huge show, and all we can give is lots of love and give over the crowns as such.
We're very excited, very nervous, can't believe that it's here and it's happening.
When we look at Beauty and the Beast now, these many years after the movie, we're not reinventing it, but there's a little refresh that Belle gets because we think of these characters differently today, but to also re-examine the characters, to get a chance to go back and look at these characters and say, how would they exist today and who are they today?
Look at each other and love each other for who we are, not what we are. That's the message, really, in Beauty and the Beast, and it relates to today more than ever.
I think they should come and see it to be entertained, to be uplifted, to be moved, and there's a shared joy in the theater.
This show has everything. It has heart, it has hilarity, it has big soaring vocals, huge dance numbers. Whether you go by yourself or you go with a colleague or a loved one or a friend, you're gonna leave with memories that are gonna last you a lifetime.
This piece has got me by the heart. I didn't realize how beautifully crafted it is, how well written it is, and the music is. I can feel, I'm getting shivers now. Like it's incredible. It's such a magical experience for people to come and watch this.
It's a stunning show, and it's really going to touch a lot of people's hearts.